Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's live stream. Sorry, I'm a minute or two late. Finished work a bit later. Have to run dinner down my throat as well. So, welcome to this week's live stream. And today, Rightmove, or a couple of days ago, Rightmove released their monthly house price index on asking prices. So, we're going to go over that. And as always, we're always going to go through your questions, your scenarios, and anybody who wants to share what they've been going through recently when buying or looking for a house. This is the place to do it. So for anyone who's watching who doesn't know who I am, my name's Lee Everett. I've been selling properties in Essex for nearly 20 years, be 20 years in September. So I've dealt with quite a few house transactions over nearly 2 decades, so I've got quite a bit of experience in the house buying and selling process, and really here to help as many first-time buyers buy their first home. So please feel free to ask any questions, and it's not just me who's going to be answering questions. What I love is people in the community, in the chat, that we've been slowly building are going to offer their advice and their sort of situations as well, so you know you are not alone. So let's just say hello to the few people that are in the comment section already. Hi, Paul from Plymouth. You're here every week, Paul. Thank you very much. Maya, hi Lee, congratulations on the wedding. Hope you had a great time. I caught up on you last week's live and saw your picture. Felt so happy for you. Both look great. Thank you so much. Thank you. I am really batting above my weight with my wife, so I'm a very lucky happy chappy. So thank you very much. Planet Pokerwood, another regular. Thank you so much for coming. Good evening. James, not seen you for a couple of weeks, my friend. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. Promano Gupta, you were here last week, I think. Thank you very much for joining us again. And Mark Wilkinson, highly first live for me. Welcome, Mark. Welcome. So thank you so much for joining us. Say hello to everybody. Everyone is very helpful, very loving. We all just want to help each other out and share our experiences. Got some more hellos. Hello, Obeid. Hello, Mia Play as well. Lewis Miller, fantastic, from Birmingham. All over the place. Wednesday evening. Thank you so much. And we've got Mean7 for the second live. So thank you so much for everyone that is watching. It's really appreciative. If we can hit that like button as well, as has already been mentioned in the chat. We're up to 10 so far, so we can smash that as high as we can. And I've got to do a shameless plug as well. I've just been monetized, so if you do want to offer a super chat which helps support the channel, then it'll be so muchly appreciated, but you honestly don't have to. But if you do want to support the channel, then there's a super chat or buy me coffee link you can do. But again, it's not about making money. This is about helping you guys. But if you did want to show some appreciation, then please, you're more than welcome to do that, but you really don't have to. Now I've got that out of the way, and we've got 29 people viewing. Plenty up the likes. Yes, please do. We're going to go over Rightmove's latest report. Also, while you're in the chat, the 30 people we've got in the chat, let me know. I've got a poll going at the moment. How many days do you think it's taking for the average house sale to go through? So we've got 90, 120, 150 and 180. At the moment, it's tied between 190 and 120. We've got a quarter of you nearly at 150 days and 15% at 180 days. So look at the poll. We've got 22 votes. Just change another one for 120. Let us know what you think. And then in about 15 minutes, if I remember, I'll let you know if you haven't Googled it and found out yourself already. So, Mia, virtual hug back at you. Thank you very much for joining us again. Toch, thanks for coming back. And Ben, another regular. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. So let's get into the report. Now, if I've done my bits and pieces right, we should have a bit of a screen shot here. There we go. And I'm going to read through this, and then we'll go over it, we'll analyze it, and then we'll have a chat about it, and then we'll do our Q&A and bits and pieces as we always do. So let's get into it. Right. Actually, I'm going to get... There we go. Yeah. There we go. So we have the 5th asking price record this year. Okay, so increase in asking prices. This month, they've gone up by a modest 0.3%, which is £1,113 compared to last month. That takes the average asking price, and this isn't sold prices, asking price of £368,614. So that slow in growth is also being mirrored in asking prices as well as sold prices. So they are still going up, but just not as much. They say affordability constraints, a better balance between supply and demand, and the usual seasonal price drops will contribute to further slowing or in the coming months, with annual growth still on track to be 5% by the end of the year. Now, I think Zoopla, they estimated a 3% increase this year, which we've gone, and Rightmove are saying 5%, and they think that the figures that they're showing that at the moment they're on course for a 5% increase in asking prices this year, which, as I've said, as you all know, I think they're only going up still, and it's only going to get more and more expensive the longer you leave buying a house at the moment. Let's go out into what else they have to say. Buyer demand for each available property is down by 8% compared to May, but remains 6% higher than last year and more than double the pre-pandemic 5-year average. So there's double the amount of people looking than what there was before the pandemic, although it's not as much as what it was last year. That demand is still above average. So you as a buyer, first-time buyer, are still going to be up against a few other people, at least when looking to buy a property. Some good news. There are signs of more fresh choice for buyers, with a number of properties coming onto the market for sale up by 7% compared to this time last year, but still below 2019 levels. Now, if you remember last month when Rightmove done their their report, they were saying that there was less on the market, and I disagreed with that because I've had more coming onto the market, and it was taking a little bit longer to sell properties. But it now seems to think that Rightmove have caught up with what I'm experiencing on the ground. There is more properties coming onto the market. Blimey, more than 500,000 homes are currently sold subject to contract at the moment, which is 44% higher than 2019. So wow, 500,000 homes at the moment are under offer. Isn't that nuts? Absolutely nuts. So let's have a little look at the figures we've got here. National average asking prices from May to June, we can see that slight increase to 368,614, 0.3% monthly change. Average change, not in double figures. This is the first report we've done this year where the annual change has dropped to below 10%, but still it's a plus. It's plus 9.7%. I love this stat that Rightmove do as well. So what they do is they give the average asking price for first-time buyers. So last month it was £223,117. This month, 224,251%. So 0.5% increase and a 9.1% annual change. So according to Rightmove, first-time buyers are at last getting a bit better end of the bargain or the deal compared to second steppers and the top of the ladder. Let's see what else they've got to say. That's all just boring estate agents telling us. That tells you what the average house sale is as well. So what do you guys think? Are you experiencing the same? I like to ask your opinion on the housing market, and that's all they are, their opinions and what you're experiencing right now. So while you're busy typing away, let's say hello to some more people. JJ, good evening, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. Tochi's saying hi, gang. So let's say hello back. Sylvia, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Try to catch up with everything. David, welcome back. I think you was here last week, so thanks very much for joining me. Mark, hang on to that question. I'm going to start that. We'll do some questions in a minute. Toshi, thank you so much. Thank you so much with the super sticker. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate that. You donated last week as well, so I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. DM. Now, DM is a bit of an entrepreneur. Last week, he told us that he has created something which I hope he doesn't mind me telling everyone, scrapes newest properties from Rightmove and other portals. And I think he's onto a bit of a money-making thing there. That would be a fantastic app that would get, I'm guessing, you in front of the properties that come on the market first and foremost. But he has promised to share some information of this when he's found somewhere. But at the moment, he's looking at buying a forest and putting a tent up. I hope that's not true, mate. I hope that's not true. Maya, Right. Oh, another question. Another question. Right. So let's get this in order. Let's get this in order. I think Mark asked a question first. So, Mark Hiley, at what point do you lock in the interest rate? If the Bank of England keep raising the base rate every month, will this be reflected in mortgage rate? Yes, it will do. Now, I'm not a mortgage broker, so all I'm giving you here is my opinion on what I've read. This is not financial advice, but from what I've read today on my lunch break, is that although the Bank of England increased for the fifth month in a row or fifth time in a row the interest rate by 0.25%, some lenders, no, who was it? HSBC, I remember being one of them, have actually increased their rates by around 0.5%, so double what the Bank of England have actually put theirs up. And one MP has accused these banks of profiteering from the Bank of England's thing they're trying to do to curb inflation. So, so I personally, as I've said for the last few weeks, Mark, I'm not sure if you've managed to catch up on any of the last live streams, is if you can lock in a 5-year fix now. And again, that's what I've done. So I'm only speaking from my personal experience. In October last year, I fixed for a 5-year because I was worried about what was going to happen with interest rates. I didn't have a crystal ball. I couldn't predict the inflation that was going to happen. I just wanted that set monthly mortgage payment so I knew what my bills were going to be basically for the next 5 years, barring gas and electric, which, yeah, that's going to hurt when that goes up in October. But generally, for me, if you know you're not going to move anytime soon and your plan is to stay there for at least 5 years or longer, then a 5-year fix would be the route that I would go down personally. But again, you may want to speak to an independent mortgage broker. And another shameless plug, if you do want to speak to an independent mortgage broker, you can drop me an email at leeeverettpropertyadvice@gmail.com. So, great question, no? And I think that's going to be asked a hell of a lot more over the next few weeks as interest rates are going up and up and up. Back to Maya. We submitted our mortgage application the end of May, submitted last piece of evidence on the 7th of June, and still nothing about mortgage offer or valuation. We're a bit worried now. Is this a bad sign? So you haven't had the valuation done yet, Maya? That would be very strange. End of May, what we're looking at, 3 weeks and no valuation being done. So I would certainly be chasing your mortgage broker or the lender as to why that hasn't been done. But some lenders, they like to get all the paperwork done first, get everything about you, ask all the questions before they send a surveyor around. So once the surveyor does go around, the mortgage offer normally follows very, very quickly. So if the survey hasn't been done, then it may not be bad news precisely. It might just be that this lender works differently to other lenders and they do all the legwork, all the paperwork first, the survey last, and then mortgage offer following shortly after the survey. So let me know if let me know if your survey has been done. Hi Means. Hi, Lee. Had my home buyer survey last week. Unfortunately, we had to drop out after it was discovered the property had asbestos and really gutted. Where was the asbestos, Means? Was it in the Artex, or was there near the water tank? Let me know where it is, because sometimes it's not as bad as it seems. And surveyors have to put it a certain way to cover their own backsides. And it probably said they suspect there's asbestos and probably advised you to get it tested. So that would be what I would be looking for, is the exact wording and where the asbestos is. Before making a big decision. But if you've already done that, that's fair enough. You maybe already have the answers to those questions. But if you do have anything in between these live streams that you want to ask, you can always ping me an email, guys. You can always ping me an email. So you can certainly do that. And get me involved. Get me involved. That's what I'm here for. Mark, thank you, Lee. No, thank you. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Lewis Miller, the market has been crazy this year. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That is why I'm drinking beer midweek, so bear with me. Excuse me if that was loud. As prepared first-time buyers, we are constantly getting outbid by people offering crazy prices for a house. We're not going for a new build as it's easier. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be as much competition for new builds that I've noticed anyway. I don't know if anybody else experiencing being able to get a new build pretty easy. But yeah, there's, depending where you are, Lewis, let us know where you are in the chat. There are still multiple buyers for every property, and in some instances, prices or offers are having to go well over asking price just to get just to get sort of anywhere near the owner's interest. And I think I've just missed a comment actually. Zara, I think she's experiencing the same. Harley, I'm fine. The first offer you put in needs to be over asking price and your best and final. All of my offers end where someone else has offered higher and has been accepted. Any advice? It's always difficult, Zara. As Lewis was saying, a lot of people are going way over asking price. You need to do your research about the property, about the road, what the maximum price places are selling for, and be mindful of how long you're going to be in that property. So if you're going to go over asking price on a property, then you've got to make sure the property is going to be worth it when it comes to the surveyor coming around to value it. And also, if you need to sell in the next few years, are you going to get your money back? If you're putting a good size deposit down, then any sort of fluctuation in prices shouldn't be felt too much. But you certainly want to be doing your research. Advice in terms of trying to get your offer accepted is, I say this every week, try and befriend an estate agent or 2 or 3 in different offices to try and build a rapport, a friendship with an estate agent so they can big you up to a seller. Make sure that agent has your mortgage agreement, your deposit, proof of deposit, your solicitors, your ID. Give them no reason to need anything from you apart from a figure. So if you give them all the facts that they need, your mortgage offer, your mortgage agreement, all those sorts of things, they know you're going to be a good buyer. For somebody else who comes in who doesn't supply that, then that offer shouldn't be looked on as good as yours, Zara. So certainly befriend an agent, befriend the seller as well. If you're lucky enough, and I say this every week, I say this a lot every week, try and get to know the seller as best as possible. Strike up a conversation, try and build a rapport with that seller. Let them know how much you love their house and you can't wait to live here as long as they have or as well as they have. Just try and sort of fluff them up to try and get them to like you. So when the offer does come in, they remember you. And I know a lot of other people, I've had this in this chat, people actually start writing letters to sellers, thanking them for allowing them to come and view the property. And you're going to put an offer forward of X amount and just see what comes back from it. Writing a letter, I personally wouldn't have thought of doing it until somebody suggested it in the chat a few weeks ago. So that might be something you could do, Zara. But come back next week. Let us know how you're getting on. Share with the community. We all like to sort of know how people are getting on. So please do. Please come back. Mate, the valuation was done end of May, but haven't heard back yet. They just said that underwriters are busy. Well, yeah, that might just be the case. Underwriters, they may be off sick, holiday, all those sorts of things, and they might have a lot of mortgages going through at the moment. But yeah, if they're telling you that it's with the underwriters and they're just stacked up with paperwork, they may have not even come to your case yet. And when they do get it, it could be a matter of hours or days where they then stamp it and then you get your mortgage offer. Hopefully by this time next week, May, you will have your mortgage offer with any luck. So yeah, hopefully you get that. Okay. Oh, here we go. Touch, a bit of bad news, guys. Application was declined after 2 months of waiting, so I'm a bit sad. We're approaching another lender. Let's show some love to Touch. Never nice when a mortgage gets declined. Did they give you any reason why, Touch? Hopefully it's something which a new lender can look at. If you're using a broker, then whatever reason you've been given, that broker should be able to sort of direct you to the lender that will hopefully go forward with the mortgage with you. Yeah, that's horrible, mate. That's horrible. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I had to share it. Hopefully I'll have good news another time, but thanks for sharing. Buying a house, everyone knows it's not easy. There's no exact science to it. It's one of the most stressful things you can do is buying and selling a property. So just keep your chin up. Just keep your chin up and keep going. And come back next week with hopefully some better news, Touch. And again, thank you for the donation. Really, really appreciate it. Our property prices still exceeding the asking prices in Essex. For example, Colchester, near me, property asking price is 300,000. How much do they sell in reality afterwards nowadays? Your opinion, please. It depends on the property. Now, at the moment, I'm noticing that 3-bedroom semi-houses, 2-bedroom semi-houses, those sorts of properties, and 2-bedroom semi-bungalows, they're very, very popular where I am, and I'm about 15 miles away from Colchester. So if you've got a 5-6 bed detached house, way over the average asking price, say at £400,000, those will generally be the slower movers. you're asking price of around 300, there are lots of people looking around that sort of price bracket. It sounds a lot of money, but Essex, it doesn't get you a lot. It gets you lots in other parts of the country and not so much in others, but 300 grand around the Colchester area should get you a decent house, but there are lots of other people looking for that decent house. So, I mean, my town at the moment, asking price or just above, we're talking a few thousand, 5,000, 10,000 pound above asking price is generally enough to secure a property for somebody. So, yeah, maybe around sort of the 310, 320 should be enough to secure a property. But it all goes to, all depends on if there is somebody else who wants that property as much or more than you. So, yeah, it's difficult to say. Just pay what you think the property's worth. Don't pay a penny more than you think it's worth. Let somebody else overbid and beat you to it, and then have a mortgage to pay. But you've got to buy the right property for you. And I say this every week again, buy the property you need rather than the property you want. Get that house. If you don't need 3 bedrooms, you can get away with 2, buy a 2-bedroom. Get yourself on that ladder as soon as possible, building up that equity, locking in that lower interest rate because they're only going to go up. They're saying potentially up to 3% by the end of the year. So nearly double, over double what they are now. So definitely try and buy the property you need rather than the property you want. Sorry, more beer because my voice is going. I've done a lot of talking today. Great question, though. Great question. Means, yeah, he said it was suspected in 2 bedrooms. On the ceilings, there was a couple of other red that popped up. The house was a fixer-upper decided because that's fair enough. That's fair enough. If it's going to cost too much to do the work that you were planning to do, plus additional stuff with asbestos in the plaster and stuff like that, then that's absolutely fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Yoon, hi there. I heard in evaluation, the surveyor will always put the boiler and electricity at level 3, as I don't want to be liable for any faults. Do you advise we bring someone in to check? Yep. So surveyors aren't gas engineers or electricians, so they will never put the gas boiler and the electricity as a 1 or a 2 because they can't test it. Always be a number 3. First things first is to speak to the seller or the estate agent, see if the owner has had the boiler service recently and the electrics tested recently. If you're buying a property that's been rented in the last few years, then every landlord should have done an electrical safety certificate. So there should be one of those available. But a seller is under no liability to provide a gas safety check or an electrical safety certificate. If you want to get one done and the owner hasn't got a recent one, then by all means, you could ask the seller if you can get one done at your cost. I personally would think boiler, definitely, but tend to get that done towards the end of the transaction. There's no point paying for it on the day you've agreed the sale, and then it takes so many days for the house sale to go through, which we will answer that poll very, very soon. So if you haven't already, vote in the poll how many days you think it takes for a house sale to go through. Vote up there or wherever it is. Is it that way? That way? And then we'll give the answer very shortly. But yeah, I would certainly look to get that done, but maybe towards the end of the transaction. And then if anything does need doing, you could possibly look to renegotiate and try and get a few quid off. DM, any thoughts on going on the self-build route? There's a lot of beautiful land and it's cheap. I know it's not a simple solution, but I've known friends pull it off. So if you can get planning on land, then yeah, it's a great thing to do. But land with planning permission tends to be a lot of money. Normally a third of what or between a third and half of what the property you can actually build on there is worth. So if you can build a £300,000 house, then generally it's going to be around £100,000 to £150,000 for that plot, and then you've got your build costs on top of that. You may have to take a punt and buy a bit of land with no planning permission. That will be cheaper, but then it's a big risk because you may not get the planning permission, and then you're lumbered with a plot of land, which you can only maybe put a tent on, DM. But you've thought about that already. Give me food. I believe they were in Greece last week. So welcome back to Blighty. I hope the weather is just as good here as it was in Greece. So welcome back. Give me food. How long on average does it take to get the lender's valuation report back? Between 48 hours and 5 days, generally, depending on how busy they are. Sometimes you won't even get a report. When I bought this place, I didn't get a report. I just got told my mortgage offer was out and there was nothing to worry about. So yeah, I didn't hear anything. So the report may have already been issued to your lender. So it might be worth speaking to your broker to see if there was anything there which was brought up. So I tried going houses in Birmingham, but ended up going for Walsall in the end, as we're getting a decent new build. The market's for. Well, this is it. Obviously, if you've been able to look further afield to find the house that you need, it's worked out perfectly for you. New builds, some people love them, some people hate them. My parents love a new build. They've owned, well, the last two houses they've bought were new builds, and they absolutely love them. They've been able to move in, put your furniture in. You've got your 10-year warranty. You normally you can do the equity loan as well. I'm not sure if you've done that, Lewis, the Help to Buy equity loan, where you can put 5% down and the government lends you 20%. So you're only getting a 75% mortgage. So your interest rate should be cheaper. But yeah, well done, mate. Well done. Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh, what's going on there? Du-du-du. So I've got a lot of tabs open up here, guys. Carolina, welcome to the channel. How to show proof of deposit? Just some bank. Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. That's all you need to do is some bank statements showing how much you've got in the bank, recent date on it as well, with your name, address, because that can also be your proof of address as well from anti-money laundering stuff. Yeah, which would be perfect. Perfect. Yeah, bank statement. That'd be good. That'd be good. Ben, had an offer accepted 2 weeks ago, instructed my solicitor, but I've not heard anything since. Should I be concerned? Chase up with anyone? I would speak to your solicitor first to see if they've received the draft contracts. If they haven't, speak to the estate agent and get them to speak to the seller's solicitor to get the ball rolling on that front. Sometimes sellers can take a little while to fill out all the forms to send to your solicitor. So that may take a week or two to do that. But generally, if the solicitor's on the ball and the seller's on the ball, that should be done within a few days and draft contracts with you within roughly about a week. So yeah, I would speak to your solicitor to see if they've received the draft contracts. And if they have, then great. They'll probably ask you to pay for searches. If they haven't, get onto the estate agent and get them to chase up the draft contracts from the vendor solicitors. But as always, Ben, you can always ping me an email if you need a bit more in-depth advice on that front. Mia Play, I've got an offer accepted at 3:30. Fantastic, well done. But I'm really worried of something going wrong as I didn't have 3 years living in the country, or maybe because I got high outspending. Caught outspending. So are you worried about your sort of visa being in the country? Your mortgage broker should have put you with a lender who's happy with your status in terms of living in the country. So if they haven't placed you with a lender that knows your status of how long you've lived here, then you really want to be considering who your mortgage broker is, Maya. But yeah, don't worry as best you can. There's so many things which are out of your control. This is out of your control, so don't stress. I know it's easy for me to say, don't stress. Let's just keep positive thinking, trust in the people that you've employed to look after you, and only get upset when the bad things happen. Don't get upset before that happens, all right? So have a bit of positive thinking. How to find the best solicitor, Carolina? I would use a local one, personally, one that's been recommended by friends or family that have used them before. Look at Google reviews, email them as well, asking for a quote. If they come back to you quickly, that's a good indication that they're good communicators. If they don't come back to you quickly, then if they're not coming back to somebody who's potentially going to give them money, are they going to come back to a client any quicker? So yeah, I would certainly go for communication and recommendations locally if you can. But also big thanks to Lee, because you say sending a letter to the seller may help a lot, and it did in my case. The seller had a higher offer of 10k, but fantastic. You know, I love it when we get a story like that, because you just never know if the advice you're giving is actually going to work for someone. But I'm really, really pleased for you. Really pleased. Give some love for me. That's fantastic news. Fantastic news. Maya, sorry it's happened, Toch. Hopefully next time will be successful. Yes, I hope so. Zara, I have 3 estate agents I'm working with, viewing houses before they're advertised. Excellent. Always sending them an email back in my verbal offer with DIP. It's not easy out there. But you're doing the right thing. You're doing everything right. And the fact you're getting in viewings before other people is a great thing. Loads of houses are being reduced these days, by the way. Yeah, I'm noticing that as well. The houses that have been on the market for 3-4 weeks are starting to reduce. And these are the ones that you want to be looking at. These are motivated sellers. If they're reducing their price, then that goes to show they actually want to sell. They've got a reason they want to sell. They're looking to instigate some more interest in their property. So if you see one that's been on the market 3-4 weeks and it's just reduced, get in there, because there may be some more wiggle room there as well for somebody in your position being a first-time buyer. And Mr. T, this is live. I know it's taking me nearly 10 minutes to get to your comment, and I hope you're still here. Yep, we are live. So let's smash through these comments as quick as we can. Tosh says, thank you. Mark says, yes, Mr. T, it is live. Promote, thank you. I'm more than welcome. More than welcome. Royce 80, thank you for coming back, my friend. Had the second surveyor come from evaluation today. Fingers crossed. He lives in the same area, so should have a better understanding than the last one. Not sure how long it'll take to hear from. Hopefully a few days, Royce. Hopefully a few days. Let us know, mate. Hopefully we'll hear by next Wednesday. We'll hear by next Wednesday. Dr. A and B, hello humanity. Hello, Dr. A and B. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. I'm nearly caught up now. JJ, I'm struggling to find a house I like. If I was to settle for the house I need at the moment, I'm worried if I decide to move again in a few years, ... the houses may have lost some equity. What are your thoughts on this? If you're going to buy a house now as your home and it's going to suit your needs for the foreseeable future, 2, 5, 10 years, then don't worry about negative equity. You only lose when you come to sell. Now, if you can see yourself needing to move within a certain time frame, then it's difficult advice to give. I would be buying a property now and locking in for 5 years on a house I know I'm going to spend the next 5 years in. In that 5 years, house prices should have gone up. Certainly, I don't think we're going to be having 5, 10, 15, 20% drops like we did 2007, 2008. And each month you're paying your mortgage for those 5 years, you're paying off more and more of that mortgage and building up more equity each month. All right. So I know out of my mortgage each month, £300 comes off what I goes added onto my 350 added onto my equity. So each month I'm paying my mortgage, £350 is being built into my equity. So do it over 5 years, you do the maths, that's extra equity plus natural house price growth as well. So I don't think you'll be in negative equity, but I don't have a crystal ball. I think you'll be absolutely fine. Mr. T, worried about getting the 330 from the bank. What, you're worried? Why is that? Do you not think you'll get it, or worried about borrowing that amount of money? Because it's a large amount of money, £350,000. It is a lot of money. Amy Barnes, highly, I'm finally getting into the buy-to-let sector. Will it be an issue that I have no landlord experience as I want to buy multiple properties at once? I don't think so, no. You can even buy a buy-to-let if you've never owned a property before. You have to go through a few more hoops. You have to have a certain amount of income and stuff like that. I'd probably be looking to maybe do a buy, refurbish, refinance route where you buy the property, you do a bit of work to it, rent it out, hopefully add some value, pull some money out, and then put that down as your deposit for the next one. And so on and so on. But yeah, great to get into buy to let. Just keep up to date with all the regulations. They change so bloody often. Use a decent agent if you can't keep on top of it yourself, Amy. But I wish you the best of luck in that. And yeah, again, you can always email me if you have any questions on the buy to let front or on the renting side. Mark, do you know how much the affordability will? Right, yes. So this is what I want to talk about as well. But first of all, we're going to go through to the poll. So the poll here is, most of you think it's taking 90 days for a house sale to go through, closely followed by 120 days, 150 days at 20%, and 180 days at 23%. The actual time it takes for a house sale to go through, according to Rightmove 2 days ago, is 150 days. So 5 months, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, 5 months it's taking for a house sale to go through. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong in that time, but all you can do is do your best, get your paperwork in, do everything you can as quickly as possible. The rest is is all to do with the gods after that, unfortunately. But yeah, 150 days to buy a house. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Took less time during lockdown. Which is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Right, do you know how much it for? Right, so the Bank of England, they have scrapped a certain part of their affordability rules they brought in place in 2014, I think it was. And that is where they applied a 3% stress test on top of your offered interest rate. So if you got offered a 2% interest rate, your lender would have to stress test you that you could afford 3%, or was it 3% above the standard variable? It might be 3% above the standard variable rate. But because that is looking unlikely, they've decided to scrap it. So they've not done anything with your wage multiplier. You still can only get between 4.5 and 5.5 times your annual salary, but they've taken off this stress test of adding 3% to an interest rate to make sure you can pay it. So in theory, the figure you get from a mortgage agreement in principle should be a hell of a lot more accurate now, because they're not applying this stress test to you. So I hope that answers that question, but I don't think it's going to do much in terms of helping the masses. It will help a few out, but I don't think it will be help too much. Maya, how soon after receiving the draft contract should we get back to them? Also, how much negotiation can we do in terms of what's not included and how much to pay for these items? So on the fixtures and fittings forms, the seller will tell you if stuff is included or not. They'll also say if something is up for sale, and they'll put that on the fixtures and fittings forms, which you should receive at some point. But if there's anything in particular you want to buy from the seller, just speak to the estate agent or book a viewing, go around and have a chat with them. But after the draft contract, as soon as you get the contract, sign it and get it back to the solicitor. Nothing happens until you exchange those contracts. Just don't date the paperwork. The solicitor will say don't date it. Just sign it, get it back, and then again, you've done everything you can in order to speed up the transaction. Anything you hold on for will just slow things down, unfortunately. Abaid, hi Lee, how do you choose the best and most reliable builder for any refurbishment you require? I've got a very handy father-in-law, if you want his number, but I've not had to use too many builders, but I've got ones I've sold houses to if I need a specialist. So again, like with solicitors, recommendations, people that have done work for your friends, your family, people you know, ask to see pictures of what they've done. You can also see a portfolio of the work that they've done very recently. You can even ask to speak to some of their past clients. And again, look at reviews about, that'd be the best thing I would say. Recommendations and reviews. DJ G, I'm a first time buyer at the age of 32. I still opted for a doer-upper and bought something cheaper just to get on the market. I think that's a great idea. Don't think you need the perfect 4-bed detached just because you're in there. Exactly. You don't. The average age of a first-time buyer is 35. So even at 32, you're still ahead of the curve right now. So anybody below 35 and you're buying a house, bloody well done. But yeah, exactly right. You don't need to buy the big house. Buy the house you need rather than the house you want. I'm going to put that somewhere. I'm going to trademark that shit. Excuse my French. Man, welcome back. Hey, hope you had some good time looking at your wedding photos. Yes, thank you. Shouldn't you be on your honeymoon? No luck with house viewing this week. Got a promising one tomorrow. Yeah, we got 3 kids. So, there was no time for a honeymoon or a family moon. So, no, we had a week off work, done a nice few things, done some gardening, and bought some furniture for the house and flooring. So, but yeah, thanks for asking. Good luck then. Good luck tomorrow with a doer-upper. Let us know how you get on. See you next week, Roman. See you next week. Rinse, welcome back. Don't worry about being late. Always welcome to have you. Thank you so much. Where are we? Also wrote my own Rightmove script down. Thanks for the idea. Should have kept your mouth shut, DM. Should have kept your mouth shut. Yeah. If you have a residential property but want to have a lodger and ask your lender, will your interest rate go up or need to pay some of the... Do you know what? I think if you have one lodger, I don't think you need to do anything. I think legally you can do what you can have one lodger to help pay the mortgage. Might be worth just speaking to your lender just to confirm that's what you want to do. But in regards to tax on some of the income, speak to an accountant. But generally, if it takes you over into a tax, an income, you should pay tax on it. But speak to an accountant. There might be certain things because it's your house. There might, speak to an accountant on that. But in theory, you can have a lodger with most mortgages, I believe. Just ask the lender. Mr. T, any advice on buying a house before going to auction? Interested in a few properties, but don't want to use an auction house. Cash buyer, first time, not sure how to approach. I personally wouldn't go for a auction property in this market. The housing market, as a lot of you have been telling me, is crazy, absolutely crazy. It's Yeah, there should be no reason why um, a house has to go to auction unless there's something wrong with it. I think that's the main thing here. The only houses I've recommended to go to auction are ones that have rubbish leases, need a deed of variation, or there's some structural problems, Mr. T. So I personally would steer away from them. There's a reason they're at auction as opposed to selling on the open market. But speak to the auctioneer as to why the owners come to auction, and see if they can give you any information on that. But me personally, as a first time purchase and cash, I would probably look to buy on the open market. You know what you're going to get. There's no pressure for you to complete in 28 days. Obviously, once you buy that property at auction, you've exchanged contracts, you can't pull out without losing your deposit. So I think very carefully before going to auction, Mr. T. Might be able to get a deal, but there'll be a reason why it's that cheap. Ad, hi Lee, we had a mortgage offer. So, fantastic. Let's give some love for Ad getting their mortgage offer. Well done. Congratulations. Need any advice on the way forward about how to move forward with the conveyancing? You can always give me an email. Mia, best tips on speeding up the process of completion, or is it? There's not a lot you can do, Mia. Not a lot you can do. The best thing you can do is to fill out your paperwork as quickly as possible and chase your solicitor once a week to make sure they've got everything they need from you. Apart from that, there's third parties, there's search providers, mortgage companies, other solicitors, all have their part in making things go quickly or slower. So you just need to get what you can quickly done and get it to your solicitor or mortgage broker, and that should hopefully be enough to speed things up as best as possible. But always give the agent a call or your solicitor and get them to chase if you want an update, and that might start getting things going a bit quicker when things have gone quiet. Solicitors tend to be quite reactive rather than proactive. Sometimes it takes a phone call from their client or the estate agent before they pick up a file and actually start doing some work on it. Not all solicitors, but they're more likely to deal with a file if they've got somebody chasing them about it rather than not. If they know a buyer's not going to call them up every week, then they're probably going to put that to the bottom of their pile and just get to it when they can. So just become a little bit of a nuisance to the estate agent and your solicitor. I'm sure that will help you on your way. I've got 57 people watching the stream right now, so if we can hit that like button, that would be fantastic. Last time I checked, it was 23. And if you do appreciate the stream, please feel free to offer a super chat. It'll go towards running the channel. That'd be very, very much appreciated, but not necessary. But if you do want to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee or send a super chat, which would be much appreciated. Thanks so much. Am I right thinking the lenders will only allow 4.5 times your salary on a buy-to-let, same as residential? No. So on a buy-to-let, it's more done on the return from the rent you're going to get. So they like the annual rent to be X amount more than the mortgage payments. So if you go on to, I don't know, say the Mortgage Works intermediaries, Google that will take you into what the lending criteria for the Mortgage Works are. And that will give you the formula of what they look for in terms of the rent coming in and stuff like that. But if you are a first time lender, they will want you to be on generally between 20 and 25,000 pounds as a salary to get your first buy to let. I think Virgin want 25,000 pounds deposit. So good luck. First time here, you seem very positive. I'm a very positive chap, Mr. T. It annoys my wife, nearly said girlfriend, immensely that how positive I am and optimistic. But yeah, very, very positive. I don't worry about things unless I have to. I see it as a waste of energy personally. But thank you so much. You're more than welcome, Abaid. More than welcome. LB, welcome back. If GDP is negative this month and it's a sixth in a row and we are in a recession, how do you see recession impacting the housing market? While demand is high and supply is low, I can't see it impacting the housing market much. I think the main things that are going to affect the housing market are affordability. People not being able to get as much money as they want to buy their house, which may mean vendors are having to sort of be a little bit more realistic with prices. But I don't see that a recession, it's just a word. GDP doesn't affect me personally. If it affects your wages, if obviously how much you can afford to buy is affected by how much the country's making or producing. But I think recession is a word which is there to scaremonger people like us who don't understand it. as well as the economists. Recession is a word that for 2 quarters, the country hasn't grown. But that doesn't affect me personally in buying a house. It may affect others, but me buying a house, if I need to move to buy a property, the fact the country's had 2 quarters of negative growth or no growth isn't going to change the fact that I still need to buy a house. And if I have the funds and the ability to buy a house, I'm still going to buy a house. So that's my opinion. That I don't think it's going to do too much because the demand is still so high and the supply is still very, very short compared to normal times. That's sound advice. That's what I'm here to do. Give some of that sound advice. Yes, some love for Ad. Well done, Ads. Excellent stuff. Great tips. Thank you so much. No, you're more than welcome. LB, thanks. Appreciated as always. Yes, so this is what we're here to do, guys. This is what we're here to do. Give advice. We're missing E. Jane this week. They've been here every week helping us, so I'm a bit gutted they're not here this week. I was going to let them be a moderator, but I hope I've managed to keep up with all your questions. If I've missed a question, please re-put it down there, because we've had quite a busy evening this one. 56 or 59 people watching at the same time, and quite a few messages coming in. So thank you for all those. Let's see if we've got any more coming in. So what do you think about the 150 days it's taking to buy a house? Rightmove was saying if you want to buy a house and be in before Christmas, we'll talk about Christmas in June, you have to start looking at being under offer or buying now. Isn't that nuts? We're talking about Christmas in June, nearly July, but that's a new one for me. An absolute new one. I think when I first started nearly 20 years ago, we was looking at around 12 to 15 weeks. And in the world we're living in now, where technology should have sped things up, it just really hasn't with the property market. It really hasn't. It's been pretty crap on that front, really. But 150 days, 5 months to buy a property from start to finish is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So guys, if we have no other questions, I might call it a night. So if you've got any more questions, I'll stay for another couple of minutes answering. But if not, we are going to call that a night. Might try and pump out a little video in between our next live stream. But if not, here we go. Got a question. Give me food. We had an offer accepted on the 5th of May and we're still nowhere near completion. Only just recently got a mortgage offer. So you are nearly 60 days into a 150-day transaction. Give me food. That's you're not quite halfway yet. But you've got your mortgage offer, which is great news. The conveyancing side, whereabouts are you with that? Has your solicitor got the draft contract? Have they applied for searches? Key things, big milestones. Mortgage offers one, and so I've just sent a message there. Mortgage offers one, draft contracts, and getting those searches applied for and back. They're the main hurdles you want to get over early doors. So it'd be interesting to know, give me food, if that is if you're over those sort of hurdles. Excuse me. Alex, welcome to the channel. If you haven't liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Hi Lee, what are your thoughts about leasehold flats? Leasehold flats, providing the lease is a good length, and we're talking over 100 years, ideally well over 100 years. And the ground rent isn't too expensive, and the ground rent doesn't double every 15 or 30 years, then leaseholds can be a great way to get onto the property ladder. The government are trying to make buying a leasehold property and renewing leases a lot easier and better and cheaper for people by bringing in new laws on leaseholds and stuff like that. So if you get one with a good lease, which the agent should see the lease and be able to tell you some information about it, then it can be a great thing. You've got your limitations. Obviously, you can't extend a flat generally. If you need to do any major internal work, you need to ask permission from the freeholder. But there are a lot of benefits. They're normally cheaper. The building's maintained. And I say it's a great way to get on the ladder, providing the lease is good. But you can always email me, Alex, at leeeverettproperty@gmail.com if you have any questions specifically about a lease that you've seen. Mr. T, I've had a few more questions coming in, so I'm not going just yet. DM. I've been in this for 20 years and you don't look much older than that. What moisturizer do you? It's a good filter on the camera. So in September, it'll be 20. I'll be in my 20th year. So I quit college after 3 weeks and dreading walking home to my mum and dad to tell them I quit college. I saw a job for an office junior advertised on the walk home and I applied for it. And if I remember it rightly, I think I had a phone call left to my mum and dad's answer phone message because I didn't have a mobile phone then, saying I had a job interview. So that was news to them that I'd quit college and had a job interview, but I got it. And 20 years later, I'm managing the most successful independent estate agent in my area. So, but the moisturizer, no, this is just splash of water in the morning in a shower. No one said what my celebrity lookalike is. Before I go, I want to know if you think I look like a certain celebrity. This week, by 3 people, and it's only Wednesday, that I look like a certain person on the TV. So let me know. Yeah, let me know who you think I look like. Answers on a postcard. Lewis has got in already. Thank you so much, Lee. Great advice as always. You're more than welcome, Matt. More than welcome. Hi again, Louise. Hi, Lee. I didn't know about the 150 days. That's crazy. Got a viewing tomorrow and hoping we like it. Always then getting over the hurdle of not being gazumped. Yes, there's always that hurdle. But if you do things that you are meant to do as quickly as possible and you've built up that rapport and done the right things at the right time, then hopefully the seller will stick with you. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. I've had many a deal where a seller's changed to a higher buyer. That buyer's either renegotiated to less than the price that the other person was buying or pulled out completely. You then go back to the original buyer. Do you still want to buy it? And they go, no. So, yeah, fingers crossed for you, Elise. Come back next week. Let us know how you're getting on. Alex, you are more than welcome. You're more than welcome. DM, higher indoctrination is a scam anyway. Good decision. Rinse wines. Thanks for the coffee last week as well, by the way. Rinse, really appreciate that. Low internet quality can also be good for the skin if you wish to start a channel. Is that what you're saying? My crap internet is getting rid of these wrinkles. Appreciate it. So we've got Stephen Mulhern. Interesting. The love child of Ricky Gervais and Deck. Bloody hell. David Platt from Coronation Street. Leonardo DiCaprio for sure. My wife will not believe somebody said that. Rebecca, if you can hear me, somebody said it like Leonardo DiCaprio. I got told that about 3 or 4 years ago that I look like Leonardo DiCaprio, and I've been clinging on to it every day. Stephen Mulhern, 100,000%. Yeah, it is Stephen Mulhern. In for a penny, in for a pound. Yeah, that is my celebrity look-alike. So well done, everyone. Love child of Ricky Gervais and Ant and Dec. Is it the big forehead and the goatee? I can shave the goatee. I can't get because I can't grow a beard. Only bit of facial hair I can grow at 36 is that. So yeah, this is what I'm stuck with. But yeah, I'm going to keep the Leonardo DiCaprio one up there just so everyone's to see. Gotta go. Amy Barnes, thanks again, Lee. My first time here, and you've been a massive help. You're more than welcome. Hope to speak to you again. Yeah, I'm going to be here next week at 8:30 unless something changes. But yeah, every week 8:30 on YouTube. I will be here. Hitesh, hi Lee. How much time is land registry taking? I've got my completion in October, but still waiting for registry from. Yeah, I think either yourself commented last week or the week before, or somebody else did, having the same thing. They completed a long time ago and not had their land registry documents through. It's not uncommon at the moment. If you look on sold prices, that if you bought a house 3-4 months ago and you want to see if it's on the land registry on Rightmove, for example, it won't be on there. So they are massively behind, but you are 7 months, 8 months now. So that might be worth following up with your solicitor just to say, look, did you submit documentation to land registry? Have you registered the property in my name? No harm in asking the question, because it may have just been misplaced and not done yet. They have to do it within 3 months, I believe. I don't know whether because of COVID that's been that's changed somewhat, but yeah. So that's a long time. Chase your solicitor, make sure they've sent off the registration. Then, if not, you can always call Land Registry and ask them what is going on. DM, sorry, you're not sorry at all, are you? You're not sorry at all. But I appreciate the coming back every week to rip me. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to buy me a beer or a coffee, there's a link in the description. If you want to support the channel with a super chat, press that little dollar sign down there somewhere. Be much appreciated. Yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. Thank you, Mia, for coming. Thank you for what you do. It really helps others. Keep up the good work. Have a good night. I will be. Thank you very much. Hitesh, thanks, mate. Yes, I did. Sister is waiting for a response. Perfect. So let us know next week, my friend, if that happens. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Every week, these lives are getting bigger and better, and I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing the people coming back. I'm loving the insults of looking like Stephen Mulhern and the nice ones where I look like Leonardo DiCaprio. So thank you so much. Have a great week. Good luck with your viewings if you are viewing. Good luck with your house buying process if you have found somewhere, and you can always email me for anything in between now and next week's stream. I look forward to seeing you next week, guys. Have a great weekend when it gets here, and I'll see you later.